In today's session, we are going to learn about the topic called constraints. Constraints. For example, here I have a student table. If I execute select star from student details, I am receiving one particular output where I am storing the details of the students. Where I am storing the details of the students. This is a small student table. If I am inserting the values which are already present, for example, I executed the same insert query one more time. This table is allowing that particular value. This table is accepting that value. If I execute this one more value, this table is accepting the value. If I execute select star from student details, this RAM value is inserted one more time. It is duplicate value for that. Whenever we are creating any database or whenever we are working on any database or any table, we have to make sure that we are maintaining our data cleanly. We are maintaining our data cleanly. This particular thing is called business integrity. Business integrity. Business integrity means how accurately we are giving data to our customer or client, whoever it might be. How accurately we are giving data for them. For example, there will be a lot of difference between iPhone and normal 1800 rupees China phone. Which will be accurate? Why iPhone is accurate? They are maintaining everything very cleanly and very accurately. In this China phone, if you watch for temperature, it will show that 70 degrees Celsius, where human beings can't live. Sometimes it will show 100 degrees Celsius also. Boiling point of water. Even water will become vapor at that particular temperature. It will show whatever it wants. 1800 only, right? In that mobile's music will be very louder. If you turn on music in one place, person in HSR layout can listen. Why means they are not preferring quality of data and all. They are just taking some random data, that's all. They are not loyal to their customers. Now, let us see how to maintain our data cleanly. How to maintain our data cleanly. This particular process is called business integrity or data integrity. To achieve this particular process, we have to use the topic called constraints. Constraints are nothing but of restrictors which are useful for us to maintain our data cleanly. Which are useful for us to maintain our data cleanly. Constraints are nothing but of restrictors which are useful for us to maintain our data cleanly. When it comes to constraints, we have two types of constraints. They are regular constraints and key constraints. Regular constraints and key constraints. First, you have to understand what is a key. Key is a value which is used to find the details of one particular person or object or transaction. If you enter the key of that particular person, you should get only his data. You should not get any other people data. Key is a value which is used to find the details of one particular person, object, or transaction, whatever it might be. It should be able to fetch only that particular person or object or transaction details. For example, for people in India, Aadhaar card ID is a key. If I enter your Aadhaar card ID, am I going to get another person details? No, only your details. It will fetch only your own details. For example, if I enter your name, there will be multiple people with the same name. I will get details of list of people. If I enter my name and search for my name called Tharun in Facebook or anywhere, how many people's list I will get? Even if I enter with some surname also, there I will get multiple people details. But if there is any filtration based on Aadhaar card ID, if they enter my Aadhaar card ID or if I enter my Aadhaar ID, am I going to get different person details? No. Am I going to get multiple people details? No. Key is a value. It is a value which is used to fetch details of one person, object, or transaction. Key is a value which is used to fetch the details of one person, object, or transactions. When it comes to keys, in regular keys, we have null as a key, default as a key, and we also have check as a key. These are the regular keys: null, default, and check. Null means unknown value. Unknown value. If you don't know any value or if you didn't inserted any value, in SQL it will be considered as null. Null means unknown value. Null is not equal to 0. Null is not equal to 0. 0 is a value. Null is not equal to 0. Null means just a unknown value. For example, if my parents went to some marriage, some of my relatives asked my parents about my salary. Some of my relatives asked my parents, what is the salary of your son? My parents replied that null, because they don't know my salary. They don't know how much I am earning. They replied null. Null. It doesn't mean my salary is 0. It doesn't mean my salary is 0. They don't know the value, that's why they mention null. Null is not equal to 0. To avoid null values, for example, if you are trying to join in any institute, you are asked to fill any form or to fill your details. Yes or no? You fill your details or you join directly. You fill the details, right? For example, there will be a name column. If you don't enter any value in your name column, and if you came into institute, will they accept? Can you tell that I don't have any name? My name is unknown. No. Can you put null? No, right? Because name is a mandatory value. For every mandatory value, you have to give the constraint called not null. Not null. If you give the constraint called not null, not is a operator and null is a constraint. If you give the value called the constraint called not null to any column, it will not allow null values into that particular column. You have to insert value mandatory. It will not allow any null value. For example, for Priya, we didn't enter the age. We didn't enter the country. If age is the mandatory column, she should definitely insert age. She is not inserting, database will not accept the value. Not null will make sure that there are no null values. Default. When it comes to default, for the column called location, throughout the column, we gave the value called India in our table. For the column called location, I gave the value, throughout the column, I gave the value called India. For example, I am inserting Aadhaar card, I am storing Aadhaar card details of the people in my database. I have a column called country. What will be the country name of them? India, because Aadhaar card is present only in India. In other countries, there will be some different cards. Aadhaar card is present only in India. If I am inserting only Aadhaar card details, the country of every person will be India. Is it required to enter that value every time, each and every time? Do I need to insert India every time? For that particular column, I will give a default value. I will give default for country, default India. Even if I am not inserting data for that specified column, by default, SQL will print India for them. I will not insert the data for that specified column manually. I will not insert value manually, even though SQL will consider the default value. I will take India as default. Then throughout the column, throughout the country column, it will print the value called India. We need not to enter the value manually. After that, we have one more constraint called check. This check constraint will work based on a condition. This check constraint will work based on a condition. For example, if I am storing some banking data, I am storing the customer's data of any bank. If one customer is trying to create a bank account and I have to store his details immediately in database, I have to store his details immediately in database. That particular customer age is 16. Customer's age is 16. And as per bank requirement, I should allow the people whose age is greater than 18 to create the bank. If his age is less than 18, I should not allow him to create the bank. What I will do? I will give a constraint called check age greater than 18. Age greater than 18. Only if age starts from 19, it will allow. Even for 18, it will not allow. Greater than 18. It is greater than or equal to 18, it will allow 18 also. If I am taking age greater than 18, from the age of 19 years, it will allow the data. If some person is trying to insert the value called 17 or 16, bank will reject or database will reject that data. It will not insert into database. We will see how these things will work. But check will work based on some condition. You have to give some condition. After that, we have some key constraints. What is a key? Key is a value which is used to fetch the details of one person or one object or one transaction. After that, in keys, we have few. They are unique. First thing is unique. Unique. The name itself, it is mentioned that unique values, which means values should not be duplicated. Values should not be duplicated. It will not allow duplicate values. No duplicates. No duplicates. Unique value means no duplicates. Will not allow any duplicates throughout the column. But it will allow one null value. One null value. You can ask me why it is allowing only one null value. For the first time you are inserting the null value. For the first time when you are inserting the null value, it will take that particular null value. Because as it is an unknown value, this unique constraint will consider the first null value is also a different value. First null value is also a unique value. This null value is also a unique value. But for the second time, when you are inserting this null value again, it will consider that null value is getting duplicated. I will not allow duplicate values. Will allow only unique values. For the first time when you insert the null value, it will allow. Because it will consider null value is also a unique value. Null is also a different value. I am allowing it for the first time. If you try to insert the same null value one more time, it will not allow. Because null value is getting duplicated. 2 times. It is coming 2 times. It will not allow. After that, we have one constraint called primary key. Primary key. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null. Unique and not null. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null. It will make sure that there are no duplicates throughout the column, and it will not allow even one null value also. Unique key is allowing one particular null value, right? Primary key will not allow even one null value. It is a combination of unique plus not null. Unique plus not null. Will not allow duplicates. Unique will not allow duplicates. Plus not null. Not null will not allow null values. Will not allow duplicates and it will not allow even one null value. For people in India, at least for one person, can you give Aadhaar card ID as null value? No. For one person only, right? We should not allow even one person. For any person in bank, can you give 1% account ID as null value? 1% account ID as null value. 1% account ID as unknown value. Can you give? If you give, all black money will get stored in his account. Because no one can catch unknown value. If you have some account ID, based on your account ID, they can see your transactions and all. If you don't have your account ID and if you are saving your amount, how can anyone find? It's not possible, right? For any IDs, we can't allow even one null value. Even for PAN card ID, for one person, can I give null value instead of ID? No, I can't give. When it comes to this primary key, we can give only one primary key for a table. If I have one table, only for one column, I can give primary key constraint. More than one column will not allow primary key constraint. Primary key can be given only once per table. You can ask me, I have two columns with the same feature. One column I will take primary key, and for the second column I will use two constraints called unique and not null. I will use unique and not null constraints together. It will work as primary key, but you can't use primary key constraint for more than one column. You can use unique and not null together for n number of columns. But primary key constraint is allowed only for one column per table. After that, you have something called foreign key. Foreign key is used to build referential integrity. Primary key is the parent value. The same primary key column in the child table or in another related table will be act as child value or foreign key. Primary key value is also called as parent value and foreign key will act as child value. The same primary key column in child table will act as foreign key. Foreign key is used to build relationship between both tables. Foreign key is used to build relationship between both tables. Both tables. I will tell you how this foreign key works. I will tell you how this foreign key works. After that, we have one more constraint called auto increment. Auto underscore increment. Auto increment. Auto increment will generate sequence of numbers one by one. For example, if you are giving student IDs one by one, if one more new student enrolled, I will give one new number for him. If one more person enrolled, I will give next number for him. I need not to insert values one by one. There is 10 or 12 people, I can remember what is the count, what is the next value. If there are thousands or lakhs of people, how can I remember exact value every time? People will keep on enrolling. How can I remember that ID exactly? That's why I need not to enter it manually. I will enter remaining details. This ID value will be generated automatically one by one. For example, if one person enrolled, for him ID will be taken as 1. If one more person enrolled, for him automatically ID will be taken as 2. one more person enrolled, it will be taking ID as 3. One more person, 4. One more person, it will be taking as 5. It will generate continuous sequence of values one by one automatically. You need not to insert values. It will generate sequence of values automatically. Will generate sequence of values automatically. For example, in your bank, you are doing transactions. For every transaction, one transaction ID will come. Yes or no? If you do any transaction, there will be one transaction ID for each and every transaction. If you do one transaction and immediately if you do one more transaction, thus that IDs will be in same sequence. You can't get one by one because a lot of people will be doing transactions parallelly. IDs will be similar almost. You will get nearby value if you are doing immediately. Why? Because these transactions are transaction ID is auto generated value, which will come one by one. For example, who will be inserting transaction IDs in the backend? Is the watchman behind ATM inserting those values? After doing transaction, madam, wait, I will enter transaction ID and I will send you outside. No one will insert, right? It is auto-generated value. Whenever you are doing transaction, you will get one transaction ID automatically. Daily 50 crore plus transactions are occurring only in India. 50 crores plus transactions. 20 crore plus digital users are there. Means people who are using Google Pay, Phone Pay and all. 20 crore plus users are there. Each person is doing 2 or 3 transactions regularly. For Pani Puri wala also we are scanning. We are not giving cash. Yes, right. Everywhere. Even in my village, auto wala is not taking cash. Scan. He is asking to scan. No change. Scan. Daily 50 crore transactions are occurring. Who will insert IDs for these 50 crore transactions? It is auto-generated value. Automatically values will print one by one. If 1 lakh number transaction is occurring, it will take transaction ID as 1 lakh. For the next transaction, it will generate as 1 lakh 1. For the next transaction, 1 lakh 2. Like that, continuous values will be printing. Continuous sequence of values will be generating. This particular constraint is called auto increment. These are the constraints we have.